Good day, everyone. Today we are putting together solutions to those math and science problems that students are encountering, especially in the areas of Form 5 or CSEC and Form 6 or the CAPE level. In this video, we'll be looking at CSEC Mathematics and specifically the area of geometric construction. We'll be looking at the past paper questions and their solutions from May 2014 for 5 years until May 2018. Feel free to like the video and add any comments down below so we can help you in any areas that you are having problems with. Don't forget to look at the description down below where we have outlined a playlist of all the videos required to cover the entire CSEC Maths syllabus. Let's recall that the major topics in CSEC Math are 10 of them, and in this video we'll be looking at number 8, Geometry and Trigonometry. This comes for 8 questions in paper 1, the multiple choice paper, and 21 marks over a couple questions in paper 2. This topic can be divided into 2 parts, into trigonometry and geometry. And in this video, we'll be looking at geometry. Geometry itself can be subdivided into 4 smaller parts: geometric construction, unknown angles or parallel lines, circle geometry, and transformation. And we'll be concentrating on the first one, geometric construction. This question came in all 5 years from 2014 until 2018. Let's look at an overview of geometric construction, the requirements that students need in order to cover this topic properly. Students are expected to be able to construct angles, particularly the 60-degree angle, 30-degree angle, and we will be using the 0 and the 60-degree to bisect it to find the 30. Also, they will need to be able to construct the 120-degree angle, and we'll be using the 60-degree angle as the step before in order to get that done. The 90-degree angle, and there are many ways to do this, and we will be using the 60 and the 120 and bisecting them to get the 90. Remember, bisect means to cut it in half. And the 45-degree angle is exactly halfway between 0 and 90. And also, students must be able to construct a perpendicular bisector of a line, which means that they must, if they are given a line, they must be able to construct another line at 90 degrees to this first one, directly in the middle of it, cutting it in half. Also, students are supposed to be able to construct a perpendicular to a line from a point, which is outside of the line, and to construct parallel lines. So the general steps when doing this question, the first step will be to draw a sketch of the information given, a freehand sketch, a small little one up on the side. The second step will be to draw the baseline, a long baseline, and the third step will be to solve whatever particular construction they're asking us to do. May 2014, number 3B, part 1. Using a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of compasses, construct part A, a triangle PQR in which PQ is equal to 8 centimeters, PR is equal to 6 centimeters, and angle P is equal to 60 degrees. Note, credit will be given for clearly drawn construction lines. And this here should be noted by all students that this holds for every single geometric construction question that comes. So let's make a sketch. Since we have 2 lengths, we'll use the longer length at the base. So let's make P to Q, draw a line, a freehand sketch of 8 centimeters, and we know the angle at P is equal to 60 degrees. That's the angle on the left side. And if we draw that line up, how long is that line? That line will carry us to R. So we just average 6 centimeters. We know that PR is less than PQ. And we could complete the sketch by drawing the third side. So let's actually do it now. What we'll be doing is imitating the sketch that we've done, but accurately. So the first step is to draw a long baseline, which is more than 8 centimeters. We have that in maroon. Place the metal point on our compass a little on the inside of the line on the left, and we scribe or mark an arc. Where we've marked this arc, that point of intersection, which we have as a blue line meeting the red line, that is Q. Let's turn the compass around. Remember, we opened the compass to 8 centimeters because that was what was on our sketch. And we now rest the metal point on the point of intersection there, which is Q, and we scribe an arc, and this point of intersection on the left side will be P. So we've gotten the baseline. Now, step 2, let's construct the 60-degree angle at P. And we can adjust our compass to any comfortable length. But make sure from here, when we're using the compass, make sure the length does not adjust or change. So let's make sure our compass is tight enough. So we rest our metal point on P, and we scribe an arc from below the maroon line, not from touching it, but below. We want to show an intersection of lines. And when we're scribing this arc, what we're really doing is trying to make our own protractor. So we've described where 0 degrees is, and we now rest our metal point at 0 and cut an arc. And where these two blue lines intersect, that will be 60 degrees. So what do? We draw a line through P, through the point of intersection, and that black line that we've just drawn, on that line will be R. So for part 3, let's draw an arc of 6 centimeters. So open our compass to that value, that length. Rest the point on P and cut the black line. And that line, that point of intersection is R. So let's complete the triangle PQR. So by drawing a line through Q and R. So we've completed part A. Part B, the line segment RX, this is what we have to construct now, which is perpendicular to PQ and meets PQ at X. So let's go back in our sketch and see if we understand what's happening here. So we want to make another line where R is one of the points on the line, and it's a line that is at 90 degrees to PQ. So we want to drop a line straight down, passing through PQ, and where is it cutting? It's cutting at X. So how do we get that? That is like the height of the triangle. So let's see the steps. What we can do, we can rest our metal point of our compass on R and swing an arc, which we have in red. Remember that we're going to make our compass longer than that distance from R vertically down to the line. Why? Because we want to get 2 points of intersections. So we have the points where the red line meets the baseline. And at each point of the intersection, we're going to rest our metal point there and scribe an arc below on one side. And let's go on the other side and scribe another arc. So we now have our intersection at the base. And let's draw a long line from R coming down through that point of intersection. So that is where we've dropped a perpendicular from R. And we can label X, of course. Part 2, measure and state the length of QRX. So QRX angle would mean we require a protractor. So let's bring our protractor in. Let's recall that the angle is at the top at R. So what do? We want to carry our protractor to that point and rotate it so that the 0 degrees is on the vertical line, Rx. And we can measure, and it's going to give us 44 degrees. So we found the angle QRX to be 44. May 2015, number 3B. Part 1. Using a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of compasses, construct a triangle ABC with AB equal to 9 centimeters, angle ABC equal to 90 degrees, and BC equal to 6 centimeters. So let's first make a sketch. We have two lengths, AB and BC. So what we can do is take the longer length and put that as the base of our sketch. So AB will be 9 centimeters, and we know an angle, the angle ABC, which means the angle at the middle letter, which is B. So the angle at B is 90 degrees. So we draw a line. This is a freehand sketch, right? So we draw a line vertically upwards, and BC is equal to 6 centimeters. So we have an idea where C is, so we can connect. And this will give us a right angle triangle. Let's now go and do this accurately. Let's follow the following steps. Part 1. Construct the baseline AB equal to 9 centimeters. So we draw a long baseline more than 9 centimeters, and we put our compass with our metal point a little bit on the inside of the line, and we scribe an arc, and that intersection of points, the blue arc and the maroon line, will be A. Now we can turn our compass around. Remember, we opened our compass to exactly 9 centimeters. We checked it on the ruler when we doing this. And we scribe an arc, and that point of intersection will be B. So we've gotten the baseline. Remember that I'm putting up the steps here to give you an idea of the method to solve this question. So after we've drawn the baseline, let's look at our sketch. What can we do now? We can draw that line BC, which is going upwards, which is 90 degrees. So step 2, construct a 90-degree angle at B. So how do we do that? We open our compass to any length, but we're going to keep it fixed for this whole angle. So we rest our compass with the metal point on B, because the angle that we're making is at B if we follow our sketch. And we scribe an arc, a long arc, and remember, making that arc, it is just like making a protractor with the center at B. So at one point where it cuts the baseline, that will be 0 degrees. And if we put our metal point of the compass without changing its length at that point, and we scribe an arc, that will give us 60 degrees. And then we rest the metal point at 60, and we scribe another arc that will give us 120. So let's recall, to get a 90 degrees, the method we're using will be halfway between the 60 and the 120. So we've just scribed the 60, let's go to the 120, rest our compass or metal point of the compass on 120 and scribe an arc. And that point of intersection, let's draw a long line straight through B and that point of intersection, and that has given you our vertical line. Now, what's our next step? We know BC is 6 centimeters. So let's look at step 3. We'll scribe an arc. So we open our compass to 6 centimeters because that's the length we know. We rest our metal point on B. And if we look at our sketch, it's BC is vertically upwards. So we scribe an arc of 6 centimeters on it. And that point of intersection will give us C. Now, step 4, we can complete our triangle by drawing a long line passing through A and C. Recall, we don't want any lines to be starting at A but passing through. We always want to see a little cross of two lines intersecting. Part 2. Measure and state the size of that angle BAC. So let's stop and take a look at where BAC is. If we're getting problems, remember an angle is really two lines that meet and the turn that's in between them. So the first line will be from B to A, that's the baseline going to the right, and then A to C going up the slope. So that angle in between here is the angle at the point E. And if we measure that, we're going to get 34 degrees. And how do we measure that? By using our protractor, resting our protractor with the center at A. Part 3. On the diagram, show the point D such that ABCD is a parallelogram. Now, let's look at our sketch. If we're going ABCD, then we're going From our sketch, we can see we're going in a clockwise direction. So D will end up being above A. So we can draw a line from A to D and C to D. So what we're actually getting, that parallelogram, is a rectangle. So the angle at B is 90 degrees, we know already, and the angle at A will also be 90. And there are a couple different ways we can do this. We can construct a 90 at A, just like we did at B, and go upwards, but I'll use a different method. So the first step, let's make an arc from A of 6 centimeters, because we know AD is the same length as BC, which is 6 cm. So we rest our metal point on A and scribe an arc. And now we know CD and AB have the same length, which is 9 centimeters. So we can rest our metal point on C, scribe or mark an arc of 9 cm from C, and where the two arcs intersect, that is D. So complete the rectangle. Let's draw the line up, passing through A and D, and the line across passing through C and D. And we have our rectangle. May 2016, number 4B, Part 1. Using a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of compasses, construct triangle PQR. Notice it's not asking us to use a protractor, so we have to actually construct the following triangle. Width PQ equal to 5 centimeters, angle PQR equal to 60 degrees, and angle QPR equal to 90 degrees. So let's make a little sketch so we can follow that in doing our proper construction. The sketch will be, PQ will be at the base because that's the only length that we know. Angle PQR means the angle in the middle letter, which is Q. So the angle at Q is equal to 60 degrees, so we can draw that line. And angle QPR, the middle letter being P. So at the left-hand side, we will make a 90 degrees, meaning we're making a vertical line. So how do we make let's take a look at the sketch, and we're going to draw that properly using geometric construction practices. So step 1, draw a long base line, which will be more than 5 centimeters. And let's put our compass or metal point a little bit on the inside of the line, and we scribe an arc, and where that blue arc intersects with our maroon baseline, that is Q. Let's turn the compass around, put the metal point of the compass on Q, and scribe an arc, and that will give us P. Now, step 2. Now that we have the baseline, let's make the 90-degree angle. It doesn't matter which one. So let's make the 90-degree angle at P. So how do we do that? We rest our metal point at P with any length. Doesn't really matter. Anything that's comfortable for us. But let's make sure the compass remains fixed and doesn't change its length during our scribing. So we rest it at P and we scribe an arc, a long arc. And let's recall, scribing this arc, it's just like making a protractor. So we know where our 0 degrees point is, the point of intersection with the baseline. So we can rest our compass at that point and scribe an arc, and that will give us 60 degrees. All we have to do is make sure the compass length does not shift. So we make sure and tighten it properly. And if we have 60, we want to get 90, we also need the 120 degree mark. So we go to 60 and we scribe an arc, which is 120. And 90 degrees lies directly between the 60 and the 120. So we come to 120 now, and we scribe an arc, and where the two intersect, we draw a long line from P. From below P, we want to show a point of intersection where lines are crossing. So from below P, we draw the line straight up through where these two blue arcs intersected at 90 degrees. And that will give us our 90-degree angle. Now, step 3, construct a 60-degree angle at Q. So let's go to Q, any length for the compass, it doesn't matter, but don't let it change. And we rest our metal point on Q and we scribe an arc upwards. So we're making a protractor on the left-hand side now. And we rest our metal point at where it intersected, where the 0 mark would be if we had our protractor there. and we scribe an arc. And where the two blue arcs intersect, we can draw a long line through Q and the points of intersection. And where those two lines intersect up on top, that will give us R. So we've completed the triangle. Part 2, measure and state the length of PR. And that would just be using our ruler, and that gives us 8.7 centimeters. And the size of angle PRQ. So PRQ, let's look at the middle letter, that's R. So we want to get the angle up at R, and that is 30 degrees. We can use our protractor and measure it. And we could recall, if two of the angles are 90 and 60, and all three angles add up in a triangle to 180 degrees, then the angle at R up on top must be 30 degrees. May 2017, number 4B. Using a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of compasses. Part 1. Construct accurately the square ABCD with sides 6 centimeters. So let's recall a square means that all four sides are the same length, which is 6 centimeters in this case, and all the angles are 90 degrees. So let's see if we can construct that by first making a little sketch, and we'll label in an anti-clockwise direction the letters A, B, C, D. And let's recall that AB and CD are parallel, and AD and CB, the vertical lines, are also parallel. So we'll use those ideas of parallel to construct a square, even though there are many other ways to do it. So first step, let's construct a long baseline, and from there we can get AB. As usual, we draw a long baseline longer than 6 centimeters, and we put our metal point on a little bit on the inside, on the left hand side, and we scribe an arc, and where the arc intersects, that's B. And we turn the compass around, rest the metal point on B, and scribe an arc, and that will give us A. So we have the baseline AB. We can now, if we want, construct 90-degree lines at A and at B, vertically upwards, and so on. But instead, we'll use a different method. So step 2, draw the parallel line CD. So how do we make parallel lines? Well, from A, we've made a long arc, and from B, we've made a long arc. So if we draw a line which is a tangent to both those arcs, that line means that they're parallel. So we've just drawn the two parallel lines. And the point of intersection between that tangent, and which is the parallel line, and the arc will give us C and D. So we can draw vertical lines upwards, and that gives us our square, ABCD. Part 2. Construct the extension of your drawing in B Part 1, the trapezium DABQ, so that angle ABQ is equal to 120 degrees. Let's take a minute to think about this. So let's go back to our sketch. We already have a square, and we're saying we're using DABQ. DAB is already in the square, and we want to add a point Q so that the angle ABQ, which means if we're moving from A to B and then B to Q, which means the angle at B will be not 90 degrees but 120 degrees. So since it's a trapezium, we know BQ will be going outwards up to the right, and it's a trapezium, meaning that two of the sides are parallel. So AB will be parallel to DQ. So let's go and add that to our construction accurately. So the first thing to do will be to construct a 120-degree angle at B. So we already know our geometric construction from previous. We had constructed the arc passing from A to C, and we know where 60 degrees is. So we can rest our compass there and scribe an arc again, and that will give us 120 degrees. So the point of intersection there is 120, and we'll draw a line passing through B and that point of intersection. And where that line intersects the horizontal line we had drawn, CD, which was like they will intersect at the point Q. So we've completed the trapezium. And part 3, hence, measure and state the length of BQ. So that this requires that we use our ruler and measure from B to Q, and that gives us 6.9 centimeters. So we've constructed a square, a trapezium, and measured accordingly. May 2018, number 3A. Using a ruler, a pencil, and a pair of compasses, construct the triangle ABC such that AB is equal to 8 centimeters, angle BAC is equal to 30 degrees, and AC is equal to 10 centimeters. Let's make a little sketch. And usually what I do, I take the longest side and put that as a base. So the longest side is AC, so we'll have that at the base. And we know the angle BAC is equal to 30 degrees. That means the angle at the middle letter at A is 30. That's on our left-hand side. So if we draw a line going up there, it's a sketch, so it doesn't have to be accurate. That's a general idea. And AB is 8 cm, shorter than AC. So we have a little sketch. So let's follow the steps. First step, let's construct the baseline AC. And how do we do that? By drawing a longer baseline than 10 centimeters. Rest on our compass on a little bit on the inside, on the left-hand side, scribe in an arc. That will give us C, the point of intersection between the blue line and the baseline. And we turn our compass around and scribe an arc, and that will give us E. So we have AC, our base. Next step would be to construct the angle at A. And how do we make a 30 degrees? We open our compass to any size that is comfortable for us, rest it on A, and scribe an arc. Now, scribing an arc means like making a protractor. So we've just seen the base there where it intersecting the AC line, and that's like 0 degrees. And we can rest our compass there and scribe an arc, and that will give us 60. And remember, 30 degrees is the bisecting or cutting in half of the 0 and the 60. So we have drawn an arc at 0, and we've drawn an arc at 60. So where they intersect, that will be 30 degrees. So we draw a long line passing through A and the intersection. And how do we find B, that point? We know that AB is equal to 8 centimeters. So we open our compass to 8 and we rest it at A and we scribe an arc. So the point of intersection between the angle and that arc we just scribed, that is B. So we can complete the triangle ABC by drawing a line passing through C and B. We've now come to the end of CSEC past paper questions in geometry, specifically on the subtopic geometric construction. In our first video, we did past paper questions from 2009 until 2013, and in this video we continued with the past paper question solutions from 2014 until 2018. In our next video, we'll be going on from 2019 onwards. Feel free to look at the description down below so you can get an idea of our recommended way of covering the entire CSEC Maths syllabus, as we broke it up into all the topics and a couple of videos on each topic showing all the past paper solutions from May 2009 onwards.